What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Hey. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody is well. All shucks, Brown Mama says she is on point today. She's getting me and Mims from the beginning. I know that's right. Hey, everybody coming in. Come in. Now, listen, the other day we had a conversation during our tribe meeting, and we talked about Chris Brown being sued for $50 million from some men that alleged that they were assaulted backstage at a VIP meet and greet after Chris's concert in Texas. One of the questions that people kept asking was, well, where was security? Is there any footage? If this was at a meet and greet at the arena or at some sort of venue, there had to be security there. There had to be people that witnessed it. Where's all of that information? Now, at the time, I ain't had answers to those questions. I thought they were very good questions. I just didn't have the answers to them, okay? Well, yesterday, there was another lawsuit filed. And that lawsuit was filed by the security guard who was there, who says that he was injured in the melee. Now, that doesn't mean that it's true. I'm just bringing y'all the information. Brown Mama asked a good question. She said, did anyone file a police report or went straight to suing? Again, I have not seen any evidence of a police report. That doesn't mean that there wasn't one filed. Remember, we went through this with the Tamar, Krishan, James Wright situation. Remember, we heard about the assault. We heard all about, but we didn't know that there was a police report filed until later. And then we found out that, yes, the police actually were there that night. The police were called. There were 911 calls. Like, we got all of this information after the fact. And then we saw how long it took for there to even be any charges against Krishan, even with all of the evidence that we saw on social media. So I don't know if a police report was filed. I don't know if anybody called the police. It doesn't mean that they haven't, just because we haven't heard about it yet. Because again, I'll just use that as an example. We kept saying, well, why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they file a police report? Come to find out, both of those things were done. But we didn't find out about it until much later. So with that being said, I'm going to just read you guys this Rolling Stone article on the situation, and this is as much information as I have to share with y'all. But again, as more information comes out, I'll share more information when I get more information. As you guys come in, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, please and thank you. If you are new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And listen, donations are not required, but they are appreciated and accepted. So, let me just read through this article. Again, Frederick Overpeck claims he suffered a severely injured hip and a cracked vertebrae in his neck trying to stop an assault that Chris Brown and his entourage allegedly committed against a concert goer. These pop-up ads are getting on my nerves. Okay. Chris Brown is facing a second lawsuit over an assault he and his entourage allegedly carried out backstage against 4 concert goers in Fort Worth. With the security guard hired for the event now claiming that he was injured trying to stop the violence. In the new suit filed in Harris County District Court on Wednesday and obtained by Rolling Stone, Frederick Overpeck, who said he was hired to lead backhouse security for Dickies Arena, claimed that he saw Brown throw the first punch at one of the 4 plaintiffs who first sued Brown on Monday. Overpeck tried to intervene, the suit alleges, but he was thrown out of the way. Like Monday's suit, the new complaint claims that Brown and several members of his entourage and concert promoter Live Nation as defendants, with the listed causes of action being assault and battery, negligence, gross negligence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Overpeck is seeking $15 million in damages. This was an unprovoked attack, and Chris Brown not only directed it, he threw the first punch. Overpeck's attorney, who is also representing the plaintiffs in the original complaint, it's the same attorney, interesting, tells Rolling Stone in a statement. We will use the full force and weight of the court system to obtain justice here. In the suit, Overpeck claims he saw one of the plaintiffs, Larry Parker, try to escape with Brown and the crew by running down a stairwell, trapped by a locked door. Per the complaint, Overpeck, a former correctional officer, described the incident as a prison yard beatdown. Plaintiff, attempting to do all he could to prevent the violence, got himself in between the victim and most of the attackers. Unfortunately, the attackers, included Chris Brown, did not stop the violence. They instead continued to kick and stomp Parker. In the process, repeatedly kicked the plaintiff as well, severely injuring him. Notably, one of Brown's crew launched his 300-plus pound body on top of Parker and the plaintiff before finally being drugged off. A rep for Brown did not immediately respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment. Live Nation declined to comment as well. Eventually, Overpeck helped Parker escape through the locked door per the lawsuit. Well, how did they get through the door if it was locked? Who had the key? Overpeck was taken off work by his doctor, according to the complaint, with injuries including but not severely injured hip. Okay, not only an injured hip, sorry y'all, but also a diagnosed cracked vertebrae in his neck. The new lawsuit comes 2 days after Parker and 3 other plaintiffs, Joseph Lewis, Charles Bush, and DeMarcus Powell, filed a $50 million lawsuit, claims that they were all assaulted by Brown and his entourage members, Cinco C, Amalu, I ain't going to say, Akabas, Amalu Akabas, a.k.a. Hood Boss. Lord, excuse me, y'all. I don't know why I can't read this thing today. Marquise Conway, a.k.a. Yella Breezy. The original suit detailed claims that the 4 plaintiffs were involved backstage after Brown's concert, and that Bush later approached Brown to shake his hand and congratulate him on the show. It was that point that one of his entourage reminded him that he had issues with Parker, that Brown had issues with Parker, and Brown then told his entourage, quote unquote, fuck him up. The alleged assault in Fort Worth is the latest. Okay, then they start going into all the things that Chris Brown ever did, child. I will say this, though. There are some things. Really be check your email. Okay, Tracy said check my email. Her phone is on silent. Girl, I got the case document. Ooh, Tracy got the case document. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I be keeping my phone on silent. I'm sorry. All right, let me check. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Let me check the email, honey. Let me check the email. I want to say happy birthday to you. Hold on, let me refresh it because I don't see it. Hold on, Tracy. Oh, there it is right there. Tracy got the court documents, honey. Thank you, Tracy. Y'all, if y'all listen, Tracy be hooking us up now. If y'all want to give Tracy a tip for all her hard work, y'all can cash app it to me and I'll get it to her. Or Tracy, you could drop your cash app yourself. All right, let's look through this case. Hold on. I don't want to put it on screen because sometimes they put people's I don't want to dox nobody. Hold on. Well, Ray, I can't say there definitely was a brawl. There's definitely someone that is corroborating the brawl. Tracy, I sent another email with the first documents for the $50 million one too. All right, well, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let's look at that. Hold on. Let me get to I got both cases for you. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Y'all, Tracy, I'm gonna have to send you a tip, baby. I appreciate you so much. All right. And if y'all want to tip Tracy, y'all can send it to me and I'll make sure she gets it. Or Tracy, drop your link. Okay, hold on. I see both cases. Let me see which one. Let's do the $50 million one first. And then we'll do the security one. Now, mind you, it's the same attorney that filed both lawsuits. So I'm sure the stories are going to corroborate, right? I'm sure the stories are going to corroborate. Why y'all ain't tell me I misspelled brawl in the title of this video? I'm going to change the title anyway because I'm going to let people know that we talked about both cases and we had the court documents. So I got to change the title anyway. Thank you, Tracy. All right, y'all. Let's get into this. All right, take a seat. We weren't gonna be here long, but we're gonna be here a little bit longer because we're gonna go through these lawsuits. Now, y'all know how these lawsuits go. Hold on, let me pull it up. All right, let me pull it up. You know what I meant. Thank you, Ray Ray. I appreciate you. I called the people to help me link my Pacer to Texas, baby. I was on the phone. Oh, Tracy. Oh, I definitely got to send you a tip. Thank you, my love. You know, I tried to set up a Pacer account. You might have to help me. I don't know what I did wrong, but I set up a Pacer account. And then the next time I tried to go in, it said that my access was restricted. And I was like, well, what? I paid the money and I did all the things. I set up an account. So you might have to help me, child, because clearly I did something wrong. All right. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this lawsuit, and we're gonna go through it. I was so excited to get here and click like that I didn't check. It's all good. That ain't y'all fault. I just saw it. I just happened to see it just now. I was like, Lord. But like I said, I'm gonna change the whole title anyway. Thanks to Tracy, child. We about to get into this lawsuit because the lawsuit. See, when you read the articles, the people who wrote the article pull out what they think is important, right? Maybe Bishop Robbery probably had me banned. You right. He probably did it. But y'all know how we do over here. The tribe, we want to read the information because we are critical thinkers over here. And sometimes there are things that are said in these lawsuits that make us go, huh? So that's why I like to get the actual lawsuit. I can't give y'all the Pam Law Intellect legal breakdown. Okay. We just like to look at stuff from a point of view. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. Okay, plaintiff, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's look at the summary of the case. First of all, and I'm sure some of this will be repetitive, but let's read through it. This case arises from a violent assault perpetrated by a troubled child. Why he call him a troubled recording artist with a checkered and violent past? The plaintiff is a 58-year-old father and husband. Okay, hold on. This is the security guard. Hold on, let's go to the other one. Hold on. Oh, Tracy, you got a tip. Thank you. I'll make sure Tracy gets it. Thank you. I'm going to add it to what I'm going to send her. Thank you, my love. I just saw what Tracy got a tip. Hold on. Okay, this is the first one. And Tracy, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick so I can see what everything Tracy sent me. Hold on. Because it says Exhibit A. So let me see what this is. Exhibit A. Declaration in lieu. Okay, got it. Oh, he done filed a temporary restraining order. Ooh. Looks like he's filed looks like the plaintiff has filed a temporary restraining order. That's what it looks like against the people he's suing. Well, it makes sense. If you say they beat you up, you know. All right. Let's look at this first one, the $50 million one first, and then we'll look at the security guard. I would like to tip $2 as long as I don't have to take my clothes off. We don't want you to take your clothes off. I mean, there might be some people in here that might want you to take your clothes off, but I don't want you to take your clothes off. I saw the timestamp, Cajun. I'm not fooling with you, Cajun, and your timestamps. All right. Mims, do you already have this? I'm sure Tracy sent it to you. She sent it to me. But if you want it, I'll forward it to you if you don't already have it. Okay. Let's look at this. So, again, we're looking at the summary of the case. Am I sharing my screen? Oh, no, I'm not. Let me share my screen again. Oh, Brown Mama said take them off. See, it's people. And she said she'll tip. Brown Mama said she'll tip good money if you just take it off. Take it off. Grown woman. See, grown woman said speak for yourself, really be. Okay, well, never mind, ma'ams. They want you to take it off. They want you to be down in the valley where the boys get naked. Tracy said speak for yourself. Never mind, ma'ams. They all want you to take it off. So yes, ma'am, we would like for you to take it off. I'm gonna have to go with majority rules on this one. I gotta stick with my girls. They said take it off, so I gotta stick with them. Take it off, Mims. They want to see what you're working with. Mims said he's being harassed. Okay. Summary of the case. This case arises from a violent assault. Okay, child, they use the same sentence. Why he use the exact same sentence? Anyway, the plaintiffs are the latest in a long line of individuals who have suffered at Brown's hands. The latest incident, which is the subject of this case, occurred on July the 20th of 2024, following Brown's performance at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. The concert was presented and marketed by Live Nation, who are also defendants. The violence included Brown and his entourage surrounding the plaintiffs, throwing chairs at them and repeatedly kicking, stopping, and beating them. The unprovoked violence included multiple strikes to the plaintiffs' heads and chests and ultimately involved stomping them while they were down. The brutal, violent assault participated in and directed by Brown severely injured all of the plaintiffs. Chris's conduct must be stopped. Through his action, plaintiffs seek to hold responsible Brown's presenters and promoters, as well as his paid entourage for this outrageous and violent behavior. The case seeks both compensatory and punitive damages in the amount of $50 million. So it goes through the parties. We don't need to read all of that. Discovery, claim for relief, jurisdiction and venue, blah, 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 blah. Background facts. So let's read through that's the information we want. Plaintiffs reside in Denton County. Larry Parker is a victim of a brutal assault by Brown and his entourage and suffered head injuries. He was hospitalized and has received continuing medical treatment and will need to undergo extensive medical treatment for the damages he suffered in the attack, including head injuries. Plaintiffs Bush, Lewis, and Powell were all beat and suffered bodily injuries, including neck, shoulder, and back injuries. All plaintiffs are receiving medical treatment and will need further treatment in the future. So let me pause it right there. So that goes back to some of the questions that people were asking. I can't say for a fact that there was an assault that occurred involving Chris Brown and his entourage and these young men, but these young men clearly were beat up, right? One of them is still in the hospital. Now, y'all know in today's medical world, they don't keep you at the hospital for nothing. So if they are keeping this young man at the hospital, he clearly has some injuries. Now, I'm not going to say that the injuries came at the hands of Chris Brown. I don't have that information, Your Honor. But it clearly sounds like these young men were physically assaulted, and one to the point where he is still, as of them filing this lawsuit, in jail. Interesting. Thank you for the super chat, Mims. Mims said, if a male rapper invites you backstage and you don't have a baby door, don't go. They about to beat you up. These dudes should have known something was up. Not a baby door. Not a baby. Y'all, can I tell y'all I heard, okay, I'm sorry, I got to put a pin in this. Y'all, yesterday I was listening. Y'all know I be over in the beef sector over on YouTube. And somebody was dragging somebody else over. I ain't gonna get into all the ins and outs. That's not important. But baby, I heard this drag that made me, when I tell y'all I fell out, this guy was talking about another guy. Now, remember, it's the beef sector. They drag each other. They talk ish. So we're not gonna get into politically correctness. I just want y'all to tell y'all what was funny. He said about, now, the person who was doing the drag, and we're just gonna call him Jim. Jim said, that's why they call you Stroller. And I was like, Stroller? They call him Stroller. They said, that's why they call you Stroller, for all the babies you be holding in your mouth. Y'all, when I tell y'all I fell out, anyway, You're right, Cajun. That's why you have to timestamp, because you know my ADHD, I be going left. But baby, that thing tickled me. I said stroller, and then when he said for all the babies you be holding in your mouth, I said, what the fuck? Okay. That don't have nothing to do with Chris Brown. Okay, focus. Defendant Chris Brown resides in California. He has a checker past. Brown has several times been reported to be involved in incidents of violence and assault, beating women and men alike. Brown specifically pled guilty to felony assault but evaded prison for beating his girlfriend, performer Rihanna. In that incident, Brown damaged and polarized Rihanna's face, put her in the hospital. Last year, Brown reportedly stomped and dealt crushing blows to the head of a concert goer. In another incident, Brown reportedly threw a tequila bottle directly at a patron, severely and permanently injuring him. Other bad and violent conduct reportedly involving Brown has occurred across the globe. Nonetheless, Live Nation shamelessly profits and promotes Brown's The 11/11 tour and brought Brown to Texas for financial gain. Well, shout out, that's their job. Live Nation failed to ensure that the participants of the concert, who may be around Brown and his associates, were safe. Chris Brown's entourage of assailants include known felons, defendants. Cinco CJ, another musician and member of the Blood Gang, has spent the last 8 years in prison and is a known companion of Brown. Cinco participated in the violence directed at the plaintiffs. I guess that's a picture of Cinco. Defendant Marquise Conway is a former Crip gang member who has been arrested on multiple occasions for possession of firearms, sexual assault, and possession of carrying a weapon. Well, at least Chris Brown is bringing the gangs together. The Crips and the Bloods working together as one. Defendant Hood Boss is also known as Umalu Omari, is a known Brown companion. Brown specifically instructed to hurt and injure the plaintiffs and threw a chair directly at Bush. How Lil Wayne get in this? You ain't have to include that picture of Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne ain't got nothing to do with this. Brutal attack by Brown and his entourage at the Live Nation Chris Brown event. Okay, so here's what they saying happened. On July 20th of 2024, plaintiffs attended a Live Nation marketed and produced concert wherein Brown was featured. The concert occurred at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. After the show concluded, plaintiffs, along with approximately 40 women, were invited backstage to Chris Brown's VIP area. So they were the only men invited? They were the only men? 40 women and 4 men? Okay. Upon entry into the VIP area, Chris Brown instructed all of the women to relinquish their phones and place them on the table. So they didn't have to give up. I'm so confused now. Subsequently, defendants Brown and his entourage left, closed the door, and stationed a security guard in front of it. After approximately 30 minutes of waiting, Brown entered the VIP area. At this time, having grown tired of waiting, plaintiffs were ready to leave and began to attempt to exit the lounge area. Immediately prior to leaving, plaintiff Bush approached Brown to shake his hand and congratulate him on a good show. Bush stated, "Good show. It's been a while, but I'm glad to see you doing well. It's been a long time since I've seen you." See, here's what's okay. I'm going to finish reading this, but something's missing from this story. Brown shook Bush's hand and replied, "Hey, yeah, it's been, and I appreciate it." As plaintiffs then started to exit, a member of Brown's entourage remarked loudly to Brown, "Man, you don't remember you two were beefing." Brown then took a liquor cup and said, "Oh yeah, we were. What's up, nigga? I don't forget shit." Well, clearly you forgot because you just shook that man's hand. So clearly you forgot. You didn't know. Y'all, there's stuff missing from this story. At this point, Brown and approximately 7 to 10 members of his entourage, I missed the part. Without any further discussion or any response by Bush, Brown then instructed his entourage to fuck Bush up. Hearing this, Bush attempted to quickly leave with the companions he had brought to the show. At this point, Brown and approximately 7 to 10 members of his entourage followed plaintiff Bush into the hallway, began to assault him and his companions. One of Brown's entourage, known by the alias Cinco, ran to the left side of the crowd and punched Bush in the chest. Simultaneously, another of Brown's entourage, stage alias Hood Boss, picked up a chair and threw it at his head. Defendant Brown then turned his attention to Larry Parker, instructing Marquise and others to fuck him up. Severely outnumbered, plaintiff Parker fled to the staircase, attempting to exit at the bottom of the stairs. Upon arrival, Parker discovered the door was locked. Upon instruction by Brown, Parker was then punched in the face and chest, kicked in the head for over 10 minutes, and stomped by defendant Brown and his associates. Brown encouraged his companions to join in the assault simultaneously. Brown and his entourage then continued to beat plaintiff Parker close-fisted for almost minutes. I think you meant to put like a time in there. There's a couple of typos in here, attorney, sir. Repeatedly stomping the defendant Parker's head, kicking his face and ribs, and causing severe bodily injury. Brown, sir, see, this will happen when you be rushing. You didn't have to file this 24 hours after it happened. You could have took some time to check this out, to spell check it, because this don't make no sense. This whole section right here is wrong. Just like up here when you have the quotation marks where it say, fuck plaintiff Parker up. That is not what Chris Brown said. You got that in quotation marks like that's what Chris Brown said. Chris Brown did not say fuck plaintiff Parker up. That is not what he said. Okay. All plaintiffs are injured, some severe, all are undergoing medical treatment. Cause of action, assault and battery, negligence, gross negligence. I'm not going to read all of that. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Damages. We know that they're asking for $50 million. And they want a jury trial. Preservation of evidence. Basically, they can't throw nothing away. Any pictures, videotapes, audio tapes, statements, all of that, to hold for trial. If it gets that far. Child, this thing ain't going to no trial. And we know that he filed a TRO, which is a temporary restraining order. And this is from the Busby law firm, Tony Busby. Tony Busby, I need you to work on your spell check situation because there was some errors in here. Now, before we get to the second lawsuit, let me come back to the chat. Let me see what y'all are saying. Dark-skinned women are allowed to pay the $1,000 for the meet and greet pictures, though. Child. We know how he feel about the dark skin. Oh, Mims has sent me another cash app. Hey, boo. Mims said 40 light-skinned, racially ambiguous women were allowed backstage. Chris don't allow melanated women backstage or in his sections, allegedly. Yeah, I heard that too, honey. Thank you for the super chat, my boo. Was Stroller talking about Diddy? No, but that thing was hilarious to me. You so stupid. Mims is just in here trolling. He must miss me. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. I miss you too, boo. I was going to call you earlier, and then I got distracted. No, I think you were live. I was going to call you earlier, and that's when you were live. It's the teacher in me. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Especially when I'm trying to read something. Let me ask a question. Here's where I said something is missing. And y'all tell me if I'm tripping in the chat. Y'all know sometimes I nitpick. So y'all can tell me if I'm being nitpicky or if y'all understand where my concern is. Clearly this guy did know Chris Brown. Because one, even the way he greeted Chris Brown lets you know that they knew each other. Hey, it's been a while, man, but I'm glad to see you doing well. So my first question is the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how. Now that doesn't mean that it's okay for what allegedly happened to happen. So I'm not saying that. I'm not making no excuses for that, okay? But I do have a question. You already knew Chris Brown, which makes sense that you and your friends were the only 4 men that were even back there. What's up, princess? Hey, boo. You type in the final before. Child, listen, I'm taking this summer. It's not a class, it's like a workshop, but they paying me. Y'all, I'm a week and a half behind. Fooling with y'all. Well, it ain't y'all fault because I really ain't been doing nothing. But I have a question. So do you know Chris Brown? How do you know? Well, you clearly knew Chris Brown. But how do you know Chris Brown? Did y'all have beef? Because it sounds like you knew him. And that would also make sense why you would only man back there with the women for the meet and greet. Now, that doesn't mean that it makes it okay for what allegedly happened to happen. But I just find it interesting that you didn't include that. And you didn't say, well, Chris Brown and I, the plaintiff and Chris Brown were acquainted. 2 years ago, they fought over a girl. Like, there's some context there that we're not getting. And again, I'm not saying that makes it okay, whatever happened. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened. I'm not saying that makes it okay. But it's just, I got questions, okay? So now we're going to get into the lawsuit of the security guard. Now, I want to be clear that this is the same attorney. So, of course, their stories are going to probably coincide. That doesn't mean that it's not true. Clearly, let me say this. At this point, I'm convinced that something happened. I am convinced that something happened. Don't know what. But I am convinced that there was some sort of kerfuffle. But I'm just wondering how innocent this plaintiff is in the situation. You feel what I'm saying? All right. Hey, Candy Loves to Talk TV. Really be despise typos, especially when you are supposed to be up there and not down here. But my thing is this. First of all, ain't nobody tell y'all to rush and file this lawsuit. Nobody told y'all to rush. Like, it literally just happened 4 days ago. You could have took your time. Hell, the man not even out of the hospital yet. You don't even know what his damages are going to be, but you filed it for $50 million and you don't even know the full extent of what his medical damages are going to be. Like, you don't even have all of the information. You just trying to hurry up and file a lawsuit. And my thing is, you didn't even take the time to check and make sure you had periods instead of commas or commas instead of periods. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Don Boo. Really be, they didn't say nothing about security in their lawsuit. Right. I didn't hear them say nothing about the security guard help me get out. And I'm still trying to figure out if the door was locked. How y'all got out the locked door? Who had the key? They tried to scare tactic to get some money up front. Something like that. Chris yelled at Tiana, hit Usher, choked Carucci, and has an entire rap sheet, multiple lawsuits for putting hands on people. Well, those, I don't even have to say allegedly, because all those things, well, the Tiana thing, we still don't, the Tiana and Usher thing, we don't know, but the rest of it, we got facts that happened. All right, let me read this lawsuit from the security guard. If you're coming in late, we're going through these two Chris Brown lawsuits. My girl Tracy has pulled the lawsuit for me. And if y'all want to tip Tracy, y'all can go ahead and tip her. She ain't gonna put her Cash App in the chat, but I got her Cash App. So if you send me the tip, I'll send it to her, and I'm gonna tip her because I appreciate it. Tracy be moving for us, y'all. Tracy be moving, shaking it for us. So let's get into this second lawsuit. We got 100 people in here. If you could please hit that like button. Appreciate you. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And again, donations are not required, but they are accepted and appreciated. So let's get into this second lawsuit, child. I didn't know we was going to be here this long, honey, but thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you, my love. Okay. Now, this is the security guard. So we're going to read through his case now. Cajun said, come in and sit down quietly so y'all don't mess up the news, because he know I'm easily distracted. So he don't want y'all to say something that's going to make me tell a whole nother story again. Don't do me. I'm just saying. Don Tracy said, do you want the paperwork? She'll forward it to Tracy. Just go on and send it to him. Just go on and send it to him. Y'all know Don to talk about it. You know he'll talk about it. Okay, so can y'all see? All right, this is the second lawsuit. Again, it's the same attorney, Tony Busby and Associates, honey. Let's read through it. Oh. Hold on, y'all. My screen. Okay, there it is. I'll say my screen just went black for a second. Okay. Summary of the case. This case arises from a violent assault perpetrated by a troubled recording artist with a checkered and violent past. The plaintiff is a 58-year-old father and husband. As a second job, the plaintiff supervised several individuals in his role as head of backhouse security for the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. While working security following a Chris Brown concert, without justifiable provocation, Brown and his paid entourage began to brutally and severely beat 4 fans who were attending a VIP meet and greet. Specifically, plaintiff, who did not know who Brown even was, saw Brown throw the first punch. And while the plaintiff attempted to intervene to stop the violence, plaintiff was instead thrown out of the way, while at the same time Brown yelled racial slurs, demanding his entourage join in and beat the 4 fans. By racial slurs, do you mean that Chris Brown called them niggas? Okay. One of the fans being beaten, Larry Parker, while trying to escape, somehow made it into a stairwell and was cornered by the group. Falling to the floor into a fetal position, Brown and the others chased Parker down, surrounded him, and began to kick and stomp him. Plaintiff, attempting to do all he could to prevent the violence, got himself in between the victim, Parker, and most of the attackers. Unfortunately, the attackers, to include Brown, did not stop their violence. They instead continued to kick and stomp Parker, and in the process repeatedly kicked the plaintiff as well, severely injuring him. Notably, one of Brown's crew launched his 300-pound plus body on top of Parker and the plaintiff before finally being drugged off. Who drugged the 300-pound man away? Who drugged the 300-pound man away? Plaintiff, as a former correctional officer, described the event as a prison yard beatdown. Ultimately, plaintiff narrowly escaped and helped Parker escape through a locked door. Again, who had the key? I'm assuming the security had the key to the door. Okay. When asked later who instigated the assault and how it started, plaintiff pointed out Brown. So when they say when asked later, that insinuates that there's some sort of investigation happening, whether it's internal or whether the police were called. But when said, when asked later who instigated the assault, I'm going to infer that there was some sort of investigation. Now, that doesn't mean it's a police investigation. It could be an internal investigation at Dickies Arena. Plaintiff was told that's the artist. Plaintiff's action likely prevented further injury or even death to those who were the targets of Brown's whatever. Plaintiff is a hero. Unfortunately, plaintiff has been taken off work by his doctor due to his injuries. I don't hear nothing about the emergency room. His doctor does not mean he went to the emergency room, which include not only a severely injured hip, but also a diagnosed cracked vertebrae in his neck. Okay, well, if it was diagnosed, then maybe he did go to the emergency room. I don't know, because who diagnosed him? I don't know. The plaintiff hearing is just the latest. Okay, now they're going through the whole thing again about all the things that Chris Brown has done in his life, child. We don't need to go through that. And then they're just telling you who's being sued, jurisdiction and venue. All right. Child, let's read through these background facts. Plaintiff is a hardworking Texas resident and just trying to do his job at the concert and help with crowd control. Working for Dickies Arena as head of security, he was only part of the alleged 3-man security plan enforced that night. Hello? Why y'all only got 3 people there for Chris Brown concert? Y'all thought it was a good idea to only have 3 people there for the Chris Brown show? Okay. I'm confused by the 3 people. And then it just goes on to the same thing about Chris Brown that we read in the first lawsuit. All he did was cut and paste that child. He just cut and pasted all this information from the first lawsuit about Chris Brown and his entourage, child. They go through the brutal attack. We've already read that. It's the same information. He just cut and pasted that. It's the same information. Okay. Cause of action, assault and battery, negligence, gross negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress. So it's the same thing. And then damages, demand for a jury trial. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say this. I also have this question. See, I believe something happened. So I'm not going to say that there was no incident. I believe there was an incident. But here's my question. If you work for Dickies Arena, you are an employee of Dickies Arena, and this event happened while you were in the employee of Dickies Arena, what remedy have you exhausted through your employer? I understand that he has a right to sue. And I don't know what the laws of Texas are, but I know if something happens while I'm at work, there are certain things that I have to do through my job. And remember, y'all, this just happened. It hasn't even been a week yet. This happened on the 20th, which was what, last Saturday or last Sunday? Maybe Dickies Arena had their security and Live Nation had their own. That's true. That's true. That's true. I have questions like that. And again, I'm not saying that this man wasn't injured. I'm not even saying that Chris Brown and his entourage didn't do something to these people. I ain't about to sit here and say that because, child, I don't give Chris Brown nothing, okay? But I'm just wondering why are we moving so fast? Like, why maybe in the state of Texas, there are certain laws. Y'all know Texas is a little different, right? So maybe there's certain laws that they have to do it this way. I don't know. But it just seems like it's a lot real quick. We're moving real fast here. Am I tripping? Okay. Where was the other two during the fight? Right. So I don't know. Maybe that's who drugged the 300-pound man. Maybe one of the other security guards got the 300-pound man off of him. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. At this point, I'm sitting in the bushes until further notice. There you go, Brown Mama. There you go. Let the brawlers sue each other, and maybe then money is on the line. The foolishness will stop. Child, I don't know. I'm awake. When he loses all his money, he'll learn to keep his hands off. But here's the problem. I'm awake. Chris Brown drop a mixtape and he goes quadruple platinum. Chris Brown drop a song, everybody buy it. He ain't going broke. Well, I ain't gonna say he ain't going broke. Anybody can go broke. But child, Chris Brown, and you're allowed to sue the actual individual without going through work. Oh, what's the security if that's what he is? Because I came in late. You do have to do things the right way. And again, the laws might be different. Their laws might be different. It's everything. Y'all know these things go state to state. And he has a right to sue. If this happened to him and he was injured, and I ain't saying he don't have a right to sue. And clearly Chris Brown got money. I ain't saying, listen, if you can get you a little piece of change off of Chris Brown, get you a little piece of change off of Chris Brown. I'm just saying, it just seems like I feel like some steps were maybe missed. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? But again, like I said at the beginning, if you're just coming in, like I said at the beginning, I do not know if there's a police report. We can't say that there is or there isn't. Like I said, remember when the Krishan, Tamar Braxton, James Wright situation went down? Remember, everybody kept asking, why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they call the police? Come to find out, there were 2 911 calls and a police report was filed. And the police showed up, and documented the injuries and stuff like that. But there still was a process. I don't know why LA did, who knows why different counties do what they do. So maybe this is what he was instructed to do. Maybe his employer told him, you better sue him. Like, I don't know. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think this case is going to quietly go away because Chris Brown hasn't been arrested to my knowledge as of now. None of his entourage have been arrested to my knowledge as of now. So this is, at this point, it's just a civil case. And I feel like Chris Brown is going to cut all of them people a check and life is going to move on. We may not hear nothing else about this. Y'all know how people be filing these lawsuits and then it just quietly go away. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. He can give them one of his Burger Kings or Popeye's, child, something. But they called that lawyer before Monday morning to file a lawsuit. Is crazy, or did the lawyer call him? Child, that is a good question, Brown Mama. Who found who? Because if the lawyer found them, then that adds validity that 1, something happened, and 2, maybe the police were involved. Because y'all know there's certain lawyers that be just waiting to see what the police report, they listening to the police scanners. I'm not calling this man an ambulance chaser. I'm just saying there's certain attorneys that get information a certain way. That's all I'm saying. Right. He torn like he was never even detained to our knowledge. To our knowledge, to the public's knowledge, he wasn't even detained. So I find that to be interesting. But again, remember, Krishan, she walked her happy ass right on out of that the city winery and went to a party and was online. Remember, she kept going live. So because he hasn't been detained doesn't mean something didn't happen. Who knows? But anyway, once again, I want to thank Tracy. If you guys want to tip Tracy, she found the lawsuit for me. I appreciate you. Thank y'all for being here. There's 100 of y'all in here. I hope I got 100 likes. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you're catching this in the replay, thank you so much. He probably took off before the police came. Right, isn't that what Krishan did? Right, Princess. She is in jail now, but she ain't in jail because of what she did to James Wright. But that's true. But that's my point. Because when people say, well, why wasn't he arrested? Why wasn't this? Why wasn't that? A lot of times we don't know everything. That's just because it's not public doesn't mean something didn't happen. Doesn't mean the police weren't called. Shut up, Tracy. Doesn't mean the police weren't called. It doesn't mean that he wasn't questioned. Doesn't mean that there isn't a police report. Doesn't mean that they're not going to go look for him. It just means that as of right now, this is all the information we know. Maybe the lawyer's a relative child. He might, you know how people be like, I'm going to call my cousin Ray Ray. I'm calling my cousin Busby. He got his law degree. He going to sue. But with that being said, you guys, I'm going to get up off of here. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Mims, for trolling me and all the super chats. I appreciate you. Thank you for the people who tipped Tracy. I'm going to send it to her as soon as I get off of here so I don't forget and be having her money. And then I may come back later on, child. Y'all know it's just going to depend. It's going to depend, honey. With that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Mwah! Peace. Not people on that booger sugar really strong. Yeah, that's what I hear too, Mims. That's what I hear too.